Hello and welcome to Moneylife. This is Sucheta Dalal. This week we are going to discuss, believe it or not, once again the Piramal takeover of DHFL, which is Diwan Housing Finance Limited. Now, if you remember last September, the Piramal Group acquired this company as part of the bankruptcy process for about 38,000 crore. Now there is a twist in the sale. What we considered, most of us, a sweetheart deal has a little twist thanks to an order of the Appellate Bankruptcy Tribunal. So on 27 Jan, a company called 63 Moons Technologies, which has a 200 crore investment in non-convertible debentures of DHFL and has been fighting hard to say that creditors have got a raw deal, won a significant order from the National Company Law Appellate Tribunal. This is the Appellate Tribunal for all bankruptcy proceedings. Now, what the NCLAT has done is to ask the Committee of Creditors, which are the team of bankers to whom the company owes a lot of money, to consider the demand that the Piramal Group could not appropriate all recovery from a vast number of loans, not small. The total value of the loans is equal to what the Piramals paid to acquire DHFL in the first place, about 38,000 crore without interest. Are you getting what I'm saying? Piramals paid about 38,000. I'm using shorthand and not getting into decimals or exact numbers. They paid about 38,000 crores to acquire Diwan Housing. Diwan Housing itself had over 90,000 crores of outstanding loans. Majority of it, unusually, were to public investors, fixed deposits and non-convertible debentures, and relatively less owed to banks. But the bankruptcy law is structured in a way that the Committee of Creditors comprises mainly of bankers as well as a trustee for the NCDs, where one trustee, Catalyst trustee, represents all non-convertible debenture holders. Obviously, 63 Moons decided this is not good enough and went to court. Now, what had happened as part of the bankruptcy deal was that there were a bunch of loans which are considered sort of bad loans, which were listed under section 66 of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code under what is called avoidance applications. Now, the argument during the bankruptcy proceeding was that nothing is going to be recovered from these. They're virtually zero because it's all fraudulent. So the COC agreed to ascribe a value of 1 rupee for all of this, which means that the Piramals, after acquisition, could pursue recovery proceedings, and whatever they get, they keep it themselves, because in the settlement it was considered worth just 1 rupee. This is what 63 Moons took to the Appellate Tribunal, and the tribunal has sent it back to the COC saying, okay, if you have overlooked the provisions of section 66, then look at it again. The Piramals have immediately come out with a press release saying that they intend to take this to the Supreme Court. What does this mean? They're going to fight aggressively for it. What does it also mean? Think about it. That these 38,000 crore of loans, remember I'm repeatedly saying that this 38, just for equivalence, I'm talking about 38,000 crore. If you add interest and factor in interest, it would have been 45,000 crore, but we know that no interest is going to be recovered. So let's stick to 38,000 crore. Piramals got it for 1 rupee, but they're going to fight in the Supreme Court, which means they see value, right? They think something can be recovered. I checked with my banking sources and they think that about 10,000 crores is recoverable. It is not completely a write-off. What does this mean for NCD holders? Actually, as 63 Moons points out in a press release, it is not just the NCD holders who can get a lower haircut or a better return. The bankers themselves are going to benefit. Yet, the banks don't seem to have bothered. Now, what is the composition of this 38,000 crore? It includes, here's a table that we're going to show you. Look at it carefully. So there is something called the Bandra books right up front. You have to look under principal because I said don't bother with interest. So the Bandra books is 14,000 crore. There are SRA loans of 10,000 crore. Dill transactions, again about 1800 crore, and so on. I'm showing you this table. Out of this, like I said, only about 10,000 crore is what people think are recoverable. The Bandra books, as a reminder, is an example of what a big fraud DHFL was, because this Bandra was a completely fictitious branch that DHFL showed, through which it was giving out loans of 14,000 crore, completely fake. All this money has been siphoned off, and this came out only in a forensic audit conducted by Grant Thornton, and they put it under the head Bandra books. So coming back to the sweetheart deal with the Piramals, 10,000 crore according to some bankers may be recovered. We don't know, but we know that ever since the Piramals took over, they are not sitting quietly. They are aggressively pursuing these loans to get back money. So they expect more than 1 rupee, which, like I said repeatedly, shows what a lovely deal was struck by the committee of creditors with them. In fact, Moneylife has written about it in detail. There is an article by tax expert Mr. Ranganathan, which you may want to read. But now let's stick to this issue alone. As it turns out, the Piramals are fighting for the same security that the creditors also have. How does this work? Now, when I talk about the committee of creditors, it includes number of banks: State Bank of India, Yes Bank, Canara Bank, and a few others PSUs. Together, they had a huge loan. Now, yes, let's stick to two out of these: State Bank of India and Yes Bank. Yes Bank, if you have been seeing our previous video blogs and articles, had an extremely controversial relationship with DHFL during the days of Rana Kapoor, who was the founder of Yes Bank. All kinds of shady transactions had happened, not just with DHFL, but there were other entities involved, which included a company called Narayani Investment, promoted by corporate lobbyist Neera Radia. Some of you may remember the controversy around the Neera Radia tapes. Immaterial, because this is a new company and there is an investigation. Again, Moneylife has written about it. There is an investigation by the Economic Offences Wing of the Delhi Police, which talk about a 300 crore fraud in this lending. This has also gone to the NCLT Mumbai branch. It is under bankruptcy proceedings, IA 257 of 2021. So, when Piramals acquired DHFL, it started recovery proceedings against Niyati because the loans had come through DHFL. But Yes Bank has also staked a claim because Yes Bank and DHFL had a controversial lending business. Yes Bank, in fact, had taken possession of Niyati Healthcare, pledged as security against its borrowings. DHFL under Piramals has now obtained a stay against Yes Bank and is demanding a share of this security. So, look at how funny this is, that one security, because it's come through True Roots, DHFL, which is acquired by Piramals, and Yes Bank, which is again committee of lenders. They're both fighting for the same security and want to share. So the question that I have to ask is, did Yes Bank not apply its mind when it was part of the committee of creditors? Who runs Yes Bank today becomes an important factor. If you remember, Yes Bank in March 2020 was bailed out in a public-private partnership by State Bank of India, as well as a few private sector banks, including Kotak, HDFC, ICICI, and others. So the owner of Yes Bank today, indirectly, is State Bank of India, and senior State Bank officials have been deputed to run Yes Bank as an independent bank. So it's no longer the controversial Rana Kapoor Bank. Yes Bank also had lent 10,000 crore to DHFL. Yes Bank has gone and complained to Big Daddy State Bank of India, saying this is not unfair, this is unfair. The Piramals cannot ask us for a share of the security, because remember, this is part of a bailout. You're supposed to all help Yes Bank turn profitable again after it was run down by Rana Kapoor. The bailout comes in a way at public cost, because State Bank of India is a public sector bank. Now, wouldn't you think that these people would be a little more careful about what they are doing when they agree to 1 rupee as the value of 38,000 crore of loans? Why is it that a 63 moons had to take it to the Appellate Tribunal? Be that as it may, this is an example of how carelessly banks treat bankruptcy proceedings. In fact, the bankers that I spoke to who are heavily into resolution also tell me that this act of omission is deliberate, it's not simple oversight, because there is another factor. Now, you build case law and experience based on how other bankruptcies are handled. One of the biggest and most controversial bankruptcy was SR Steel, where the Ruya family litigated every step of the way till the Supreme Court and lost before it was taken over by Lakshmi Mittal. In SR Steel, anticipating that you need to have litigation to make recoveries even after a deal is done, the Committee of Creditors had created a small 10 crore corpus to pay for litigation and follow up on avoidance cases. Exactly the same should have been done with Yes Bank. Instead, they ascribed a value of 1 rupee and told Piramals, enjoy yourself, whatever you recover, you keep it, damn the fixed deposit holders, and to hell with the NCD holders. This is the twist in the tail, with NCLAT now asking them to look at it. What will happen in the Supreme Court is anybody's guess, because the bankruptcy law is not allowed to question the commercial wisdom of banks. To our mind, this is not about commercial wisdom. The appeal is about overlooking what rights you have under Section 66. This has been a decided case according to 63 Moons, because it cited the matter of Venus Recruiters Private Limited for possible legal interpretation. And in that case, they said the recoveries would be shared by other creditors, which means NCD holders as well as banks. Let me come back to the fact that this is a fairly sweetheart deal already. 38,000 crore is what they paid, the Piramals paid, but they paid back some money to fixed deposit holders as well as NCDs, which came from cash that was already accrued. Then they got to raise money. How did they pay for DHFL? By raising 19,550 crore, which they were able to raise at a concessional rate. According to Mr. V. Ranganathan, in an article that he's written in Moneylife, the funding of the acquisition was structured in a manner that the Piramal Group got an effective bounty of 16,000 crore already. This was through tax benefits, lower interest on this 19,550 crore that they borrowed, and the 3,500 crore cash that was sitting in the company. Over and above this, whatever recoveries from 38,000 crore. Piramals have argued before the NCLT, and it was rejected, that they had factored recoveries into the equation. NCLAT said there is nothing on record to show any such thing. What will the Supreme Court do? Will the Supreme Court go with what NCLAT has said? We don't know. It all depends on how smart lawyers fight the case. If 63 Moons prevails, there are two questions that are raised. If banks have been so careless about this money that they allowed a bonanza or a bounty to Piramals all over again, are they going to pursue these 38,000 crore of recoveries as aggressively as they should, or will that also again be left to 63 Moons? And what kind of bankruptcy process do we have if bankers are not interested in taking care that what they recover is maximum, and that they, along with debenture trustees, also take care of other interests? You know for a fact that fixed deposit holders and NCD holders have lost heavily. Many of them are retail investors. Why did they lose so much of money? Because the entire system is dubious and corrupt, and these NCDs, almost until DHFL sank, enjoyed a AAA rating, which is scandalous, and it is sad that the legal system has become so difficult for individual investors to approach, and that's why they keep getting a raw deal. If you like what I said, please share this video. Thank you so much.